from the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California. It's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, welcome to About That Life podcast. I'm Coach C. Collins.
Coach MJ, GGT.
And we are here to talk basketball, life, AAU basketball, everything in between. Thanks again for those who've been listening. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you for checking us out on YouTube. We appreciate it if you're listening on the audio platforms. The audio side, we hit a nice little milestone. We got over 10,000 downloads.
Hey, let's go.
So, for people who understand the audio side, that's listens, like over 10,000 listens. And we've been doing this a year, maybe less. I mean, no, it's been a year now. So for that kind of growth that fast, we really appreciate those who listening. And I know we've been getting a lot of positive feedback. So thank you. If you're here and you're checking us out for the first time, welcome. Enjoy the show. Listen to a little bit of basketball. Learn something from a couple of people who know the game. Hit that like, hit that follow, hit that subscribe. One small click for you. Big help for us. Really appreciate it. So let's talk about our sponsors real quick. Dr. Dish, best shooting machine on the planet. Go ahead and check them out. They have links to them in the description. They have the home edition for those who want to get their shots up at home. They have the Rebel, the All-Star for basketball teams. They have team discounts, things like that. Go ahead and let's tell them About That Life sent you, and they'll hook you up with a discount. Also, West Coast Legends, if you're looking for jerseys, sublimation, things like that. Go ahead and check them out. They'll hook you up with some good product, and they've definitely made some jerseys and stuff for us in the past at YBA. So a lot of positive to say about them from there. So let's get to our guest. So our guest, I've been trying to touch base with this man for a while. He's a very busy guy, and I can understand that. He's been in this AAU game for quite a while, as far as I know. You can correct me if I'm wrong in anything I'm saying, KP. Originally, I think your program was like Adidas, right? You guys were an Adidas program at first, and then now you're Under Armor, correct?
No, we're gonna get to all that.
Okay, all right, never mind. Okay, well, like I said, we'll correct me as I go.
Yeah.
But no, you've been doing this quite a while from what I've seen. When did you start, like, officially?
I want to say 2013.
Okay.
The first year. So.
Okay, perfect. And obviously we'll get into more about who you are and your background and just your love of the game and things like that. But I have a lot of respect for this man. I've coached against him quite a bit, and we've seen each other in passing quite a bit. And he's definitely one of those brothers who's for his kids. As you guys know out there who listen and watch the show, I really like to get guests in different perspectives so you guys can see all our different lenses. You know what I mean? I forgot who said it. It was a famous coach, but my coach used to say this too. He said, basketball teams are just different ways to get the same shots, right? I look at AAU programs kind of the same way. We're all walking our own path to get to the same destination, right? And I enjoyed and created this show because I like hearing people's stories. You know what I mean? I like hearing their background. If he becomes famous, cool, nice byproduct, but that's not the goal. I want people to hear from our side of it and really advocate for ourselves. So without further ado, let me introduce KP Potts.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for finally being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get right into it. Talk about your basketball background. Like what's your, you can go from high school up, your AAU programs, things like that. Just give us a journal synopsis of you in basketball.
I mean, I started with like the rec / AAU. It's not the same as it was right now. Rec is definitely separate than AAU.
Yep.
I think when we were playing, I played for a team, a rec center called EOIDC, and we started an AAU team within the rec.
Right.
And we played against other AAU teams, and it wasn't as many as it is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and just those experiences, like I'm not going to talk a whole bunch about, my success as an AAU player or my failures as an AAU player, but what I will say is that, like, the experience, off the court, even on the court, the battles, right. the being packed in the van, being on the hotel floor, sleeping, that type of stuff, that's what really made me want to start doing the stuff I'm doing now. And I went to Fremont High School. That's where I graduated from.
Very cool.
In Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
I went on to Clark Atlanta University, the HBCU.
Nice.
And from there, my coach got fired, and I had a pretty good year, and I loved Clark, so I had to leave there. And I went back to Chabot for a year in Hayward, and then I got a scholarship to Idaho. So I kind of had both sides. It was. I was at all black school. Then I was like one of the only black people.
Right. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
So you're a journeyman, very similar to me and Mark. Trust me, we get it. We our stories are pretty similar.
right. And then I went overseas to explore to see what where my career can take me. And I was in Ireland, and then from there, I just decided to just continue to have basketball as a career, because I was already kind of training people before, like in high school as a side gig, or everything was basketball. I'm refereeing games, training little kids at the park, whoever I run into, but made it a real business, and it just kind of soared and went from there.
Very cool. All right, man. Great story. Great origin. So let's talk about AAU. Let's get right to it. So your background in it, playing it, seeing it, watch the evolution of it, obviously the evolution of your program. Tell me your good and bad points of AAU that you see. I always lead with this question with everybody because it's very interesting hearing the different answers because, like I said, everybody's lens is so different. Right. I think me and you walk a very similar path in terms of, you have a pretty heavy-hitting organization, in my opinion. I kind of look at it, and you could correct me if you look at it differently. I look at it in terms of tiers and there's a few programs out there we're kind of, we're the kings of our own castle. We kind of sit on the top of this hill, right? You have kind of, there's thousands of AAU teams at this point. I mean, you have your mom and pop programs, your independents, things like that. But there's kind of those staple programs like, let's say, an Oakland Soldiers, an Arsenal, a Lake Show, a YBA, you know what I mean? Like we're kind of those established footholds, West Coast elite, right? Right. I look at you and your program and kind of in that same light. So I value your perspective on that. So that's why I'm asking, like, what do you see? Good, bad, indifferent, whatever.
Well, I mean, I think that AAU has a lot of the same issues or the same pros and cons that high school basketball has. Not so much college because, I'm kind of trying to get at like the parent part. The parents, it really comes down to that.
Funny how we always talk about that, right? That's always like the lead. I swear, if you listen to every episode, that is always the lead thing, bro.
It's the parent, but and it's like I said, there's pros and cons. Sometimes you have that parent that's great that really allows you to coach their kid, and their kid goes for. See, it's one of the things where a kid can go for 30 points, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you got a whole bunch of people DMing the parent and the kid and the auntie and the sister, and they're trying to figure out how he'll crack and go. Right. But then again, it could be the same talented kid only going for 5 points or 5 minutes of playing time, and you trying to coach him as a coach, like, hey, no, like you didn't deserve this. You were at practice bullshitting in the game. See, I told you to stop lollygagging. Now you in the game, airballing, taking bad shots. You're not bought in or whatever it is. The plays, so many things. And now they DM like, hey, man, you should be up over here. We got the ball for you. So it's like. I
love that to you.
You know, so it's all about, I think, the reinforcement, like a solid, some structure to the kid, like a backbone, you know what I'm saying, with an accountability. And that's what I think AAU can provide to a kid. But like I said, the reinforcement has to be there, the parent, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, it's interesting. Well, I shouldn't say it's interesting. It's very very predictable because we all have that same, like when Lowe was here, he said the same thing. Like we all say the same thing, and I reiterate it even on my show constantly, like you parents make or break a lot of what we do. And if you just allow us to coach, and Mark's more emphasis is on the training side of it. If you allow him to train and, do the process, it's like if you have to allow us to work. You know what I mean? If you give it a year or whatever, you're not seeing the progress you get, okay, fair enough, you reassess. But I think we've gotten to such a cultural shift of now, nowism. I need it now.
Anxiety.
Right? Yeah. No matter Simon Sinek is a philosopher I like to read his books and stuff like that. And he says it very plainly in a really cool analogy. He says, whether you go up the mountain fast or you go up the mountain slow, there's still a mountain, you know. But he said parents look at it as they're at the bottom of the mountain and they see the top. They see it, but they don't acknowledge the mountain. You know what I mean? And because of that, when you are a coach trying to pull that kid up, parents get impatient. Right. You know what I mean? And it gets rough. But like you said, I do want to say, though, with that being said, I do feel there's more positive parents out there than negative. You know what I mean? It's just the negative ones are the loudest. Yeah,
it can affect it very quickly. There could be a really good parent that's bringing Gatorade and giving you a clipboard and giving you extra markers, whatever you need, right? Just supporting you, sending out emails for you, whatever you need, right? But that parent isn't even, and that's very effective, but they're not as effective as that bad apple in the bunch. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just what I learned over the years. So that's the challenge, and I don't think it'll ever change because we're directors. We don't I had an idea before. I was like, man, we need to have an orientation, like a seminar that every parent should take before the season so it can eliminate maybe some of this stuff. Not all of it.
Right.
But some of it. But we never did it. I mean, not saying we won't, but
right. No, it's a great idea. And when you're referring that, you mean like for your high school guys, or you mean like the whole? Because you're working with.
Well, I just dived. This is my first season, coaching the young kids, fifth and down.
Yeah.
You know, I took over for my cousin who actually started the program, and he's coaching high school now, and he's still training the kids. But for this season, I'm coaching the kids.
Okay.
Well, high school's going to start back. I got to put a lot more emphasis on that. But, you know, right now they're all with their high schools.
Yeah.
I don't compete with no high school coaches at this time.
Exactly. It's their season. It's their time. Absolutely. Absolutely. So. No, it makes sense. How are you liking the youth side of it?
It's fun. It's dope. I like it a lot. It's fun. It challenges me as a coach to try to execute, because we all, like you said, we're all trying to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
So now I have to put my version of it. I have to
different ways
explain it to them a certain way so we can get the ball in the basket.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but luckily I got a good group of kids, and but it's hard because sometimes I feel like, dang, I'm a high school coach, and sometimes I reflect and I'm like, am I going too hard on them?
Right.
But I know they're basketball holics. They love the game, so I want to feed that, but it kind of eats at me sometimes when I'm like, dang, maybe I'm so hard to the point where I might lose a kid thinking that he's not good enough or their family isn't good enough for me. And I'm like, they need to understand this AAU thing. My experience is every AAU team or every basketball journey, there's going to be bumps and bruises, ups and downs.
Absolutely.
You kind of have to figure out, you got to look into a person's heart and soul, really, and say, I want to go through this with him.
Right.
Or with them.
Right.
Not saying you're wrong for leaving and bouncing all over the place, but when you find somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody's heart is in it, you have to recognize, man, he's going to make a mistake. He's going to give me a vibe sometimes because he has a lot going on, or he lost a game, or my kid is acting a little spoiled, and this other kid's not passing the ball, and me, my son plays.
Yeah.
So that's another component.
Right.
It's there's times where a kid shoots a shot, and I'm like, dang, my son can't shoot that one because he couldn't have done that, because, or he can, but it's going to be, they're going to kill me for it.
Right.
But then again, there's times where he makes mistakes. They all make mistakes. So it's an interesting dynamic with that part and just the whole youth part. But I love it. And I'm trying to think about how I can stay involved when high school even comes back.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, Mark, you got anything? I know you always process and assess. And
No,
he's in intrinsic mode. That's why he's naturally quiet.
I mean, for me, like I said, as a trainer, because I've seen a lot of your stuff. I know you used to work with was it EGT or I've seen a lot of your stuff on YouTube. When it comes to the training stuff, and one of the questions I wanted to ask you, also as a trainer, how's it the transition? Because I did it this past year with COVID, and I'm not doing it again. But like I like being in the lab. I like being behind the scenes. But when COVID happened and we thought there was going to be no basketball, I was like, all right, the kids that I have, let me put a little AAU team together.
Okay.
I tried it. Oh my shit. That's what I always tell him. I don't know how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Because me, as a player, as a former player, and then being somebody that's very, like of course, like I'm a person that really I focus on my craft when it comes to trying to develop kids, but when you involve the parents, and then when it's time to produce and the kid ain't producing, and I got to go with the kid to produce, and it's a whole. How do you transition from that as a former player, as a trainer, and then like I said, like you've been doing this AAU thing. How was it? What were some of the things that you did? Because even just hearing you, like you said, like you like to do things a certain way. So how was that transition when it comes to working with a kid to now coaching a kid?
Well, my main philosophy is like, earn your trust by doing something. It's about trust. Earn your trust by doing something that the coach knows you can do, and picking your times to do the things that you're not as good at, and show him that you're thinking the game. Yeah. So like me, for instance, if I know Chris shoots a higher percentage than me, and I'm being accountable at this point. I've been in the gym with Chris for 3 years, right? Yeah. And we're playing basketball together or whatever, a whole season, and he's hit 20 and I've hit 2, but I know me and my family, my mom is telling me I need to shoot more because my shot isn't hitting. Yeah. And I take the shot and I should have made the extra. Hey man, I'm challenging you to judge a situation. So they have to be accountable to the principle of basketball. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or of what an accountable a coach that's holding you accountable is going to hold you to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Have you well, I wanted to talk to you about that too, because I had a chance to, obviously, when you beat my team last week, and I got a chance to see your son play, and he's a phenomenal player. He's doing a good job. You're training. Again, his little step back and his stop and go is, man, he cooked fucking two of my guys. Isn't he in 2nd grade or 3rd grade?
He's 3rd.
3rd grade, yeah. And he beating the shit out of my 5th graders, bro. Like, I was like, damn. And so, no, he's really phenomenal. But I did want to kind of touch on that. My son is just turning 8. So he's still really young, and he loves the game. I'm introducing him to him, but I know I've kind of I want to train him, but I'm not sure if I'm going to coach him, right? Obviously, most AAU programs, I believe, start with, a couple dads that are like, hey, get your kid together, like, let's make a team, right? Yeah, But I think you're in a really unique perspective because you know the game. You have history with the game. You have history as an established coach, history as a trainer. I mean, you have all the resume acclimates. But obviously, that's still your son. You're just dad. You know what I mean? How has that been? Like, what, good, bad, positive? I mean, your kid's still so young, but I can imagine, he's still, a little boy like anybody else.
Yeah, like he'll watch this interview one day, no time soon. So it's cool. But I mean, to be honest, to be completely transparent, like it was better at first. Like, I'm not saying it's bad right now. I still enjoy it, but at first it was like, okay, this is very interesting. We're starting this team. It was during the pandemic, so Cam, he used to do the drills and stuff with my high school kids all the time, because I'm a high school coach. So he'll really be up in there with James Akinjo, right. The Elijah Hardys, some JV kids, freshmen, don't matter. He's just doing drills, and eventually he started playing one-on-one with whoever wants to play, whether he's losing or not. And then I'm like, dude, look, you really love this game. You love what you're doing. The pandemic hit. I'm like, we got to start up a little team. I knew some tall kids, a couple my high school buddies that got kids. We started a team. You know what I'm saying? My main thing was that he loves it. He's watching, and now he's trying to mimic. Like, I'm waking up in the morning, he's watching YouTube, not just highlights, but just like, oh, they really matched up. It's serious out there.
That's dope.
He picking him up full court, Dad. Look, he took it from like.
That's it.
Yeah, so that's
a good sign.
Those are the types of things that I'm like, yeah, that's how you gonna have to play if you play.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not the biggest person in the world, so he's having fun with it, man. I just tell people, He's good. I appreciate you saying he's, phenomenal. We got some other good kids on our team, like
No, you have some really talented
good
kids.
and
Absolutely.
some 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, 10s and 11s. It's really 11 and down. We got, a lot of the kids are special. Right now, Cam does, in a sense, he has the baton a lot of the time, but when he passes it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, like he's a kid that will go sit in the corner and let somebody face guard him and you go for 20. So it's not like that, but
No egos.
he is going to go get his money, you feel me, because that's what we doing. And,
Right.
and I ain't going to shortchange it, but I plan on that. I like to have a stable of kids, and that's because that's how I've done it over the years. Like, it's never just that. I've never had a situation where it's like, okay, this one kid, when I had Elijah Hardy, right? Mm-hmm. You remember him?
Yeah,
Elijah,
I remember,
so
yeah.
Elijah Hardy got Cal offer, and then USC offer, and then USA Basketball invited him.
Nice.
Right? So then Naseem Gaskin, his friend, he ain't hating. He's like, hey, we're going to go to USA Basketball. We're going to watch him. We want to support. I know I didn't get invited. Oh, Elijah's ranked number so-and-so. But eventually, Naseem got 5 offers in a row, and Elijah didn't get nothing. And then all of a sudden, Andre Kelly came on by and got more offers than all of them. Mm-hmm. And he's at Cal now. You feel me?
Right.
Elijah's at Northridge, and no knock to nobody in the equation.
Yeah,
but that's just how it's everybody's going to have their moment.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Multiple times, though.
Yeah.
Over and over. So they all support each other. That's a beautiful thing. And we starting it early, so I hope that it just continues to grow in that direction. And not to be long-winded about it, but I like I heard this quote, and I forgot from who, or I heard this saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people are down for the ride, like to be in the car and be in the fast lane, the nice fancy car. But what happens when that car, you feel me, when the tires pop?
Right.
You feel me? Who gonna get out the car and push it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
like that.
That's one day. Like if Cam can't hit a shot or something like that, is now all of a sudden he's not a good basketball player, or if Arsenal loses a game, or my little group, are y'all gonna split up and leave? That's kind of what I'm trying to teach my young teams, my 9s, my 10s, and 11s. Let's push this car. Let's get to the gas station. Let's fix that tire. You feel me? And then let's bounce back and be back on the road. You know what I'm saying? And somebody else driving the car.
Absolutely.
So whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
No, that's good. No, that's smart. Like, I mean, yeah. To me, that's always the best way to do it. Grow it organically. Right, from the ground up. That's what I do personally with a lot of my teams. You could go on my social media, scroll all the way down. Mm-hmm. You'll see these kids. I had them when they were 5th, 6th grade, and just grew them. Like, I try to keep the core together. Right, of course, different parents, different kids. Some people, grass is greener on the others. Whatever, I mean, it just gets to a point you're just like, okay, whatever. I've just learned. I don't sweat it anymore. I'm pretty sure you're probably at that point too, where it's just kind of like, your parents are going to do what they decide. Kids are going to do what they decide. You just hope and that, you help that journey and put your best foot forward. And of course, I've had people burn me along the way. And again, I'm sure you've had some of the same stories. You just deal with it and go. But no, I really like your young group. And congratulations. I saw your post with Grassroots, right?
Oh, yeah,
you guys are ranked and correct me if I'm wrong, your 11U is number 2, right?
Right.
And your 10U is number 5.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
And your 9U, I didn't see, but I think they were up there too, but they're ranked pretty high. Yeah.
Number 3 or something.
Yeah. And that's on Grassroots 365 for anybody listening or want to check that out. Like, check them out.
Shout out Grassroots if I can.
Yeah,
Shout
absolutely.
out Grassroots. Not only because they show Arsenal mad love, but just me being a player, us being players.
Yeah.
Us being coaches, their platform is dope. Like, not just it's just organized every time. You know what you're going to get.
It is.
Yeah.
When you go to other events, no knock to anybody, I'm not shouting out right now, but It's just like, you show up, you don't know how this, you might look at the schedule on Thursday and you got all these crazy teams in it, and then all of a sudden you look at it Saturday morning and it's, what happened to this team?
Exactly. You playing.
Grassroots is organized with all that stuff. So I appreciate just I'm relieved when I put their tournament on the schedule.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Consistency.
We've done this long enough. We know there's some tournaments where it's like, okay, we'll see. We'll roll the dice and figure it out. And then there's some where it's like, yes, I know exactly what I'm getting, and it's going to be structured, and I enjoy it.
Right.
So let's talk about Arsenal. Let's really break it down and talk about Arsenal and your your organization, your purpose, your goal. I mean, I imagine, and again, interject anytime. I imagine your purpose is overall the same as mine or any other major program. Ultimately you want to develop, and then potentially from the developmental side, obviously when they get to high school, you want to market and give them the biggest probability of potentially playing a college team. Right. That's been my formula and motto. I say from 8th grade and below, we want to develop you. We want to teach you the game, teach you the right way, teach the fundamentals. Like you saw me at my 5th grade practice tonight. You know what I mean? Just trying to get on these kids, teach them the right fundamentals. By the time these guys are in high school, right, of course there's still elements of development, but ultimately we understand we're trying to create a platform to give them an opportunity, right? Because we all understand and agree in this room how fucking competitive it is out there, especially now with the way social media is. The internet has made the world smaller. You know what I mean? It really has. So now you're not just competing, with the guy down the street. You're competing with the world. You know what I mean? These college coaches have a lot of players to choose from. Right. So I think we function as that middle ground. You know what I mean? So what you tell me about Arsenal, what's the plan? What's the goal? What's the the objective? Where are you at with it? Because essentially you're the face of it.
Well, like it's kind of it didn't change. Okay, because like at first it started with the 8th grade team, and I'm like, hey, it's one team we have, and we had a tryout, and then we formed 2. Okay, and then the very next year, and I was fortunate to have relationships. This is the year with Nasim and Elijah and those guys, and Nasim and Elijah and them, and we made enough noise, and we are attractive enough to get a couple more guys from the Bay to make a pitch for the Adidas Gauntlet. Luckily, we had some guys in the office at Adidas, and they were like, hey, okay, we gonna give you a deal, but you ain't getting the deal that everybody else getting. We ain't giving you the check. We gonna drop the KP. I need to know later today if you can make it to Dallas, Indy, Atlanta, and then the other local events, the Adidas stuff. Right. And we're not giving you no money, but I need to know about it tonight though, because we're about to put this press release out. I'm like, damn. I acted. No, listen, and I was it was so long ago, and I'm just such a go getter. Like. I wanted to make it seem like a mature decision, so I was like, let me get back to you. I didn't have nobody to call. Right. I just let me get back to you. I gave it some time. I'm excited. I called him back and said, hey, man, we going to make it. Right. Just so he's like, okay, we're going to send you some gear. I'm talking about a week later, boxes. I mean, because we had to wear the stuff. Yeah, so of course. The jerseys, the sweatsuits, all the way up to the door. I'm like, damn, we really in it. Now I got to go get flights. So that was our Adidas year, our first year. And then we did good, and then we grew, and then we had a big year with Adidas when that Jordan Brown year, from out here in South.
Wood Creek, went to Wood Creek,
yeah. So that was the year when we signed Elijah, went to Washington, Nasim, Utah. So that was Pac-12. He had Deion Stroud, UTEP. You had Jordan Brown.
He went to
Nevada.
Nevada, yeah. There we go.
You know what I'm saying? I hella don't want to miss out on nobody. But Timmy went to Montana. Kelly went to Cal. So we signed like 6 guys from that team.
Nice.
And then it was crazy because the very next year after we signed those guys, Adidas got caught up in the
scandal. Yeah, I remember that scandal. Yeah, with the money being exchanged.
It got funky. And
it did.
So then our deal got stripped. Oh. Not because of that though. It was some other stuff. And what's the? I'm so sorry. What's this podcast called though?
About that life.
About that life. Okay. I kind of feel like that I kind of associated with like keep it 100.
Yes, there, right? Exactly. You got the exact idea. Thank you.
So we on some political shit though. Some political, we lost our deal. But it's cool though because I understand it, especially more like as I got older. I'm like. I understood the reason why we lost the deal. It was nothing personal. It was business. Yep. We went independent that next year, signed about 4 or 5 guys, D1. The next year, Under Armour launched their series called The Rise.
The Rise Circuit.
So it was the Under Armour, the UAA, and then the Rise. So at the time, I'm like, nobody knew what the Rise was. So I'm like, I'm going to stay alive in this shit by using the Rise to keep guys. Because, you know, when you're recruiting guys, like when I went to Arizona to recruit Carson Basham, he's like, so what circuit are we on? I'm like, oh, we on the Under Armour Rise. He's like, oh, okay. Nobody knew.
Right.
Then, so that whole year, we're in the same gym as UAA, but I'm grinding. I'm on my cell phone texting every college that I know to come to the game. So we're damn near getting more colleges than UAA. But then the next year when it was time to go, now I'm like, look, we were the top team market-wise, or on the social media platform, you look at it like Arsenal's Under Armour. Wow, they look, and they're making it look good. You know what I'm saying? Our record was solid. We had top guys. We was trending in that.
Yes.
But so then I'm like, hey, you know, West Coast Elite, what's up, man? Can we go Under Armour? Like, can we
work together?
Can we do that? And it didn't work. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just have to bite the bullet, go independent. Lost some guys. Long story short, lost some guys. Added some guys. Jalen Thompson, Oziah Sellers. You know what I'm saying? Like this last year, we signed independently. So we chose to go independent. We signed Jalen Thompson to Stanford. You know, Oziah to USC. Broyce Batchin, USF. Rob Viola to Fresno State. You know, got a couple of D2 guys. Jason went. Oh, Cameron Niles also went to.
That's my guy. That's one of former YBA kid a little bit and went to Davis. But yeah, Cameron's my guy. So yeah.
So we signed guys on the independent platform. So now just, you know, not fast forward. Now guys like myself and you that have had success on the independent side.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for, if Adidas called me and said, hey, I got some jerseys but no money for you. Are you down? I don't know if I'm down.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
You know
just piggybacking on that for sure, because we have our contract with Nike, but obviously we're very similar like what you said. We're not EYBL. You know what I mean? We're like that step below, right, where they're basically like, we'll hook you up with gear, give you discounts, you know, maybe kick you back a little money because our biggest enticement was the volume. You know how many teams I talked to you about. Like it's the volume of teams we have. So they look at it like, shit, it's just sheer numbers. You know what I mean? It's a numbers game to them. So they're like, okay, you got, at the time, you know, we had 52 teams. They're like, damn, 52 teams, it's 500 Nike jerseys you can throw on there. You know what I mean? Free advertisement. That's overall their appeal for us. Because again, I think YBA, we get some good kids, solid players, no doubt. But are we walking around with a bunch of D1s and all that? You know, it's like, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. We just look at it like we're just going to try to do the best we can to market our guys, you know, and find what works for them. I think there's a lot to be said for being independent. You know what I mean? Because you built those relationships and that network. I mean, for you, how pivotal has it been for your success having these relationships, these networks, being able, like you said, to text a college coach, assistant coach, whatever, and just say, hey, I got a guy you really should take a look at. You know what I mean? To you, does that feel easier or more invested, or have you experienced kind of going that shoe circuit route is kind of more easier and more invested, or is it a little bit of both?
I think that the shoe circuit, like I can't like not give it credit for what it did. It definitely did its purpose for what I needed at the time. And not saying that it wouldn't be good right now, but it's not needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I'm also not a coach where I'm like, I want to coach in the EYBL. I want to be the coach sitting under the banner. Like, not saying I wouldn't coach in it.
Of course, we're competitors. Of course,
but like right now, it's like it feeds the soul and the heart, man, to just really be able to say, hey, man, I'm going to take you guys to Cal today and introduce you to the coach, or I'm going to call this coach about you. And he's taking my call seriously because of what we've done in the past. And I have to credit the shoe circuit because those were the first games that we had with 50, 60, 70 coaches.
Right.
And because of the relationships I built at that time, some of those guys are the same people that I met when I was on the shoe circuit.
Right.
But they follow, you know, that's the thing that when we directors like ourselves tell people, if you're good, they're gonna come find you. That's pretty much true though.
Yeah.
Like they're not really finna like come find you without hearing word of mouth.
Right.
They're gonna
right.
look for you, but they know where to find you.
Right.
I have colleges call me all the time. Like colleges call Lo. Lo just told me the other day, somebody, man, you need to hit up Cal Poly. I was just telling them about your kid, or they asked about your kid, or people call me about soldiers, West Coast elite kids all the time.
Right.
Like, KP, how tough is this kid? Or is he really a good point guard?
Right,
Does he
right,
work
right.
hard? So it's a community of guys, and it's good that we identify one another. Like
That's why I was saying in
who's
the
real in
beginning,
this game.
I kind of feel like we're on our own. You know what I mean? Not that this, and again, let me make this clear. I'm not discrediting the other programs that are doing their thing, but I just feel like we're kind of in our own, what's the right word for it? In our own universe. You know what I mean? We're just kind of in our own solar system doing our thing, working amongst each other. Obviously, ultimately, if we have the right, perspective in mind. So that's good. You bring a lot of that up. So let's talk about, let me put it like this. I personally haven't had any negative experiences with you or your organization or anything like that. I know when you're a director and coaching, as long as you have, just like myself, there are people who could have negative misconceptions of you or think, you're this, you're that, or whatever. Right now, I'm just like, do you want to speak to any of that shit? I mean, it's your platform. So right now, it's like, because
About that life.
Exactly. Because do you want to speak to any of that or address any of this? Because again, I think you're overall a cool cat. And true, we've never like hung out and had a beer or nothing like that. But I just think like I look at you on social media, just things like that. I just see a very similar man working just as hard as myself. That's all. That's what I see personally. But there's probably people who could look at you and go, man, fuck him, or he's this or he's that. So I don't know. Do you want to speak to it or any of it, or you just?
Yeah, the thing is, and it sucks because you can't explain yourself to everybody.
True.
Everybody don't. There's lots of celebrities and successful people in the world, and sometimes like, how do you hate that person? Like, even like, well, Curry doesn't have a whole lot of haters that just bashing, but I've even heard people hate on Curry, who's a family man, and
right, good Christian dude, ain't done no scandals,
rape,
right?
But and I ain't saying I'm not saying that I'm not clean like him,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we're in a game where you got to move mean sometimes, and especially like maybe not so much now that the pandemic is out. People are more grateful to have their programs. The population of basketball keeps getting larger, so now people are like, man, I ain't tripping. I'm gonna have my teams. He left, okay, or
right.
But there's we all got to do our job,
right?
So when you want to say like, if I want to put something in the air, like directors, I think some directors were a little bit upset with me when I first started because I was getting players, and it's like, who are you to be getting players and to be getting on the circuit and to do this? And they might not admit that, but I know it's true because when I'm coming to a game and I've done nothing I haven't seen you since for years ago, but I know that you've seen an announcement with a circuit and all this stuff. Now the handshake is different.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, and I get it from the business side, but then when you're a little bit too, we all need to admit that we have to grow. Cause it was even me. Somebody take my player. I'm kind of,
we're human.
But with growth, and like you were saying earlier, you said something where I'm like, no, that's you like, yeah, man. They leave. It's kind of like now. It's kind of like, man, it happens.
It happens. Yeah.
But at first, there was a moment in your life I can guarantee you're like, I'm bothered.
Yeah, it does.
And I still get a little bothered when you invested a lot of
absolutely
something in a kid and they didn't take it for exactly what it was. But that's my thing with the directors. Some directors and coaches, they kind of took it wasn't business. We took things personal, and I recognize those guys now. Like, not saying I'm perfect, but when someone's upset with me for that action of like getting a kid and now he left their program, or recruiting the kid because the family said they don't know where they're going. What am I supposed to do if a kid's parent says, yeah, we don't know where we're going. We're going to weigh our options, and we're going to talk about it probably in January. Oh, okay, and we're talking about the 6'9".
Yeah.
Team changer, the
Right,
one,
right.
the one that you know you can get colleges for. I'm not just trying to get them to help me get a circuit deal.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
I know what I do. I want to keep. And we have analogies, right?
Right.
So I look at this thing like a lane, like a freeway. And there's lanes to getting to this destination of like basketball success or to college.
Yeah.
Like the Soldiers have a lane, and Lillard has a lane, and
Right.
West Coast, and there's these lanes on the freeway. Arsenal has a lane, and it took me and my coaches, staff, and the players that played to stamp that and to be
You have to
strong
create that
about
shit.
it.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. We have to create these lanes for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Do you know what we did to recruit Jordan Brown? Bro? I'm talking about, and not,
I
no, we- and we don't have
imagine
we
that
don't
dude
have
was a
Nike
baller.
check.
Yeah.
I mean, I told his dad, I said, I'm gonna go to every single game this season. No, like the whole season, right? I said, no other director is gonna do that.
Yeah. You're right.
Right?
You're right.
I went to every single game. I'm at Torrey Pines in San Diego. I'm out here at Wood Creek. I'm at Tarkanian. I'm at all the tournaments. I mean, all the games. Even sometimes I packed the car up and said, hey, Naseem, Elijah, Dion, Kelly, get in my Durango.
We're going to his game.
We're going to his game. I'm walking by his dad like, you better make sure you see us.
I kick ourselves for that because, this is our backyard. And your ass took a kid out of our back. This dude was, but again, I was like, damn,
If I
that
didn't
was
have
smart.
Elijah and Naseem, but that's one thing about me that I will say, like, if I don't have the opportunity, like if the opportunity is not cool, good for the kid, like if it's not dope, I'm not gonna do all that. But I'm like, dude, Elijah can pass it.
Yeah.
Rondo, you feel me? Naseem, these are two of the top players in NorCal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had James at the time, but then he left. If you think about how talented a group that was, man, I had James. That's the only player I lost from that group.
Yeah. Yeah.
He goes ahead and wins Peach Jam.
Yeah.
MVP.
Well, and obviously he had a good level of success.
he went and won Peach Jam MVP. And, but I look at that like, damn, that's the only player I lost.
Right. Exactly.
You
Not
want to play
bad.
at Oakland Soldiers?
Yeah, that's James
Yeah.
Akinjo. Yeah, that's
Oh,
Now you see how all this comes
Yeah,
together because,
okay,
like I said, Mark's learning. He's learning this whole system and network, man. So
he at Baylor now. That's the one you use.
Arizona to Baylor, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm telling you. Yeah, well,
Wow.
that's the worst case scenario. I think you're in you're still in a pretty good spot. No, you said a lot of good stuff. What any future plans for Arsenal or anything that you might want to put out there that we don't know about?
I want to go back to the one question you want, back to the last topic, if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick. I'm sure you probably got this before, or a parent complain about money that they've spent, or a player or a parent that hasn't even been part of the program saying that it's too expensive. And especially like not just somebody like, oh, it's just too expensive. This is the type of expensive I'm willing to accept. It's just too expensive for me. I can't afford that.
Right.
I can't afford it.
Right.
Some people got the money like, it's way too expensive. I mean, like, hold on. The value, like for me, we have workouts, like 3 optional workouts a week. You know what I'm saying? And I dumb the price to say if we're going $40 or $30 per session, and normally it's like $75 or whatever you can charge, right?
Right.
You go $40 a session, 3 optional workouts a week. Let's just prorate it. I gave you a deal, $100 a week.
Okay.
The AAU season's 16 weeks. Oh yeah, and they got the whole summer, so they say 20 weeks.
Yeah.
20 weeks times 3 workouts. 6. What's that?
Yeah. 6.
60.
Yeah.
60 times whatever rate we talking about.
Right.
$30 a session. That's $1,800 right there.
Right.
That's no uniforms. That's no travel. We do a charter bus. I try to, like I said, experience. So
Right.
that's one of the things that I do get. Like, oh man, I don't get it often, but sometimes when you do hear a money thing, or not just my program, like I hear some outrageous rates, but I'm like, hey, that's what the value honestly is. I did mine a little bit different, and maybe mine's cheaper because I worked out this deal with this gym's son, and now, okay, I can carve this off the top now.
Right.
Whatever. Maybe they couldn't do that.
It's about networking.
And also, I do a lot of the training. So, I don't know, like, people's prices, I just think that not just for myself, but just people's prices with this basketball stuff, like, you have to invest in your child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, we talk about that a lot. I know me and Mark, we brought that up numerous times, and that's what you said is the proper word, investment. That's what I tell my parents all the time. I said, you are investing in your child. You're not paying for basketball. You're investing for a potential shot at, and I call it, I do a hashtag fighting for 7, because only 7% of high school athletes get to play college. I did a whole episode on my Coach's Rise Time breaking down the analytics, like the actual true numbers in analytics. And funny enough, I got a lot of response from that episode because a lot of people just didn't know these numbers. You know what I mean? They didn't know how many Division I colleges were, or how many Division II colleges there are, how many Division IIIs. They didn't know Division IIIs didn't do scholarships. They didn't know NAIs do less like I did a whole entire episode of just the numbers. Yeah. And I said, you know, the NCAA stat that you all really need to recognize more than all of them is only 7% of high school athletes play college. And that's from JUCO all the way up. JUCO from NAIA to NCAA. So it's not a significant number. I said sometimes social media and other people might make you think there is, but it really isn't. Right. So if you have directors and coaches that are consistently helping kids get to colleges, you might need to really reconsider and think like, okay, this guy's doing his job. Like, this program's doing its job. You know, I need to take that in consideration. So, you know, we're like I said, it's beating a dead horse, but you know, you're fighting a lot of battles all at once. Because then, of course, you deal with some hate from here, some shit talking here, some people that hate what the hell you doing over here. But I've just learned in this game, you're not gonna make everybody happy.
And exactly, and I always revert back to the experience part. You know, like you're right. That's 7%. I mean, I can't break that down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to get the link to that. So I can show somebody.
Okay, yeah.
The experience is big for me because, like I said, we do a charter bus like 2 or 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. The kid that was on freshman or JV at school or didn't make varsity and played JV as a sophomore that kind of separated from his friends with a lack of confidence a little bit. A lot of guys come to the Arsenal program and go back to school with more confidence, and that's something I can really say. They get on the back of the bus and you're mingling and interacting with guys that, you know, this, like you said, the social media stuff.
Yeah.
You got guys that got, be honest, like Jordan Pope. Right, Jordan Pope is like a popular guy on my team, and even Jalen and popular. There's been some popular guys.
Yeah, of course.
You got Jordan Pope. You got a freshman that was just watching Jordan Pope during first period every day of school, and all of a sudden he's in the back of the bus with him, and Jordan's just chilling with him now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of environment I like to create for all the kids in the community, but also it teaches the other kids like humility, the kids that are popular, humility. Like, bro, don't dog him out. Y'all can roast on the back of the bus now. Y'all can talk about each other and do all that stuff, but it's just, we like to have, and that's why we call it that family, because we really treat each other like it's that family. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
Well, then, you as a coach, is there a couple programs out there that you kind of like look forward to playing against, kind of like your rivals? I asked Lowe the same question too. He told me a couple programs that are outside of California that he likes to like go at and go against, and I just wondered, do you got anything like a couple of guys you like, man? Yeah, I know we gonna play, like this is gonna be a good game.
Yeah, like we like to, the out of town teams. We love playing against like Dream Vision and Compton Magic. Okay, those matchups been good in the past. I'm sure Dream Vision want to get us back, you know what I'm saying, from last summer when we got them. Shots fired, you know, nice. Because we got that chip on our shoulder. We independent, but we do get our wins, and then Soldiers. I mean, we love playing local good competition. We love playing the Soldiers. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, YBA was a really good. Like, you guys were really good over the pandemic season.
That
not
16U group I had was
like,
they were strong.
And even like I didn't really have an elite group because we didn't recruit for, not I wouldn't say recruit for, but we just didn't I didn't like seal the package like with them because it was like pandemic. We're not really going anywhere.
Right.
So my 17s, I had Mikey Mitchell and those guys. My 16s, it was like, okay, we're gonna brew something's brewing, but it wasn't as valued. But that's no knock to anything you were doing. You had some tough teams. So even with YBA, if I saw the schedule came out and I see YBA, I know you got hella teams. So I'm like, I would think, I know you know what you're doing. I'm like, this team right here is they can beat you if y'all don't show up to really play. Like not. You have to really play. Like
right.
I got to threaten y'all a little bit. Use one of my cards I ain't used. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I know what time it is. I'm not saying that's the matchup I would request. Like, I want YBA.
Yeah.
If there's a pool, they know. I'm like, man, put Soldiers on it. Put Lillard on there. West Coast Elite. Yeah, put them on there, and we're going to watch how they run.
Right.
Like that type of stuff. But it's all competitive because when I see the coaches, especially now that I'm older and stuff, I feel like it's genuine love. When I see Lo, he knows it's all good.
Right.
You feel me?
Because that's why I try to reiterate on this show too. We're all competitors because that's just the hooper in us. That's just who we are. That's just. I try to tell parents and people, man, you can't understand this world if you weren't a part of it. Like it's just natural instinct in us. But at the end of the day, for me, and I always reiterate to my teams and my kids. Man, it's in these 4 lines. Like, just go out here and try to kick each other's ass after the game. It is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't hold any animosity towards a coach or anything like that. Now, I know for a fact I catch animosity towards my way. I've had, you know what I mean? Not from you personally, but I mean, I've heard from other coaches I shouldn't say coaches, other parents from those teams where the coaches have spoke bad on me and things like that. But it's like, I don't know them. So I'm not going, what can I do about it? Like, if that's what you think, that's what you think. But again, I think it's because you build a history and a culture of winning. You build a history and culture of success. There's just people that are going to have issue with it. You know what I mean? And that's just how it works.
Right.
Well, Mark, you got anything to add to this? Man, I know you hearing me and him talk.
I'm soaking up everything. I'm processing.
Well, that's good. Before we move on to the hot takes and the NBA stuff, I think I only got about like one last question for you. So, progressing forward, you know, you got the program, you got to establish your training, you're doing your thing there. You know, you got your family, man. You're doing it. You know, you're being a very successful individual. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you see? What do you potentially plan or hope for?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Fair
know.
enough.
I mean, I would like to have a bigger facility.
Okay.
Because we do have a workout facility right now. I would like to have a full court.
Okay.
If I didn't, fine. But that's something. And maybe even if the offer did come or the opportunity came, I might turn it down because it might be too big or it might not be the right location or I don't know. But just in 5 years, I definitely do know that I still want to impact the game of basketball in a certain way. And I'm actually like this spring, like I'm doing more directing and college recruitment for the kids this spring than coaching. Like during the pandemic, I just had a whole bunch of kids. Like I lost coach. You got to think like I lost one coach. He heard about the pandemic and all the stuff and he was losing his job. He moved to Texas. Yeah. I lost another coach. He just said, I can't do this, man. It's too dangerous. So now I'm coaching, and you know how this goes. I'm coaching 6 teams. Shit. That drove me crazy. I did it, but I'm over here coaching 10 games a day at courtside.
Yeah,
you know
you're trying to hold it all together. Like, yeah.
So now our staff is big enough. We have some true value. Shout out Coach Humphrey Jackson. He's going to be our 17U coach, elite coach this year.
Nice.
I'm normally that coach, but we do what we have to do within the program. So 5 years from now, I might say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go coach 9U, or I'm going to go coach, I'm going to just direct, or I'm going to work on getting us, I'm going to do the fundraising, do the charity events or something.
Right.
I know that I want Arsenal to be around in 5 years. I want to keep that lane on the freeway that helps kids get confidence, get scholarships, get whatever they need, help them make their high school teams, and all that stuff is more than just being the best player in high school or college. It's way more than that to me, because I was good in college at D2. I went D2. I was okay in high school. I had a good senior year. I just experienced a bunch of ups and downs, and I just want people to understand, like, AAU is one of the things, like a boys and girls club type of experience. Like, man, this can help you in so many different ways than just basketball, man. Like, your friends, some of these guys might be in your wedding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I want to continue to do in 5-10 years, is influence my basketball community.
Right. And then obviously watch your son go out there and bust some ass. And
if he's still hooping.
True.
This shit is crazy. That boy might want to be a young coach or a young but he might stick with it and hoop and stuff like that. We'll see.
All right, man. Well, sounds good. Well, let's go to hot takes. Thank you for those who are listening in and sticking with us. So let's talk about, because it's high school season, I think that's pretty relevant. Like you said, you go to high schools, you see your guys play. I personally go to high school, see my guys play. I know Mark does that a lot. He actually makes highlight tapes for his guys, which you're a hell of a lot nicer than me, because I ain't doing that shit. But our boys are playing. High school season's here, right? We didn't have one. We had kind of a bullshit one last year. Yeah. Things are here, looking good despite all the other craziness we'll talk about later. I just was curious your experience. So I know my experience in this area. And again, I think I talk about on this show, I think it's a multi-variable thing. I do think it's because, I flat out and said it, I think it's because I'm a black man in this area, and Rockland, let's just keep it a buck, is predominantly white. A lot of the high school coaches here, me personally knowing them and coaching in this area, I'm not coaching high school this year because of I feel they have like a God complex, or like, these are my kids, and and things like that. Yeah. I just think there is a weird adversarial relationship sometimes between high school coaches and AAU coaches. Me personally, I think it's stupid. We should be in business. I mean, we should be in the same business, right? We both want to help these guys succeed. I'm just wondering if you experience that. And if you have, where do you think it comes from, or why do you think it exists? You know what I'm saying?
Just control. I think just a natural control thing, and that's what I experienced. And I'm not perfect, but I think I play a pretty good role. When it's my turn, it's my turn. When it's not, it's not. And,
right.
And I'm not all at your practices. I'm not talking to high school coaches about playing time. I'm in the front row or wherever I'm at cheering for your school. And I have gotten vibes from certain ones, like, take that Arsenal shirt off during the season. Like, whoa, I was just at your game cheering. You know what I'm saying?
I've heard stuff like that too. Rockland High says that they don't like YBA at all. Yeah, so my kids, one of my kids, showed up to practice in a YBA T-shirt. And this was at Folsom High School. One of my kids, freshman, showed up in his YBA shirt, and they made him run like 20 suicides.
What the?
Yeah, that type of stuff, and that's all I can. It's just a control thing, and
I don't understand it.
Household, I can't. I don't act like that at all, and because of that, I consciously don't act like that. Like, I purposely, I'm like, nah, we're not gonna hate at all. I might just let him keep it on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's just I don't know. It's strange. It's just one of them things. I mean, Mark, you lucky enough. You're a trainer. You probably haven't dealt with that shit.
No. I've experienced it right now.
Oh, for real?
Because like I said, like, how I use my social media.
Yeah, of course. You promote your boys, ain't?
To hype up,
ain't nothing wrong with
promote
that.
my kids, and
he's really good at promoting. I give him that shit.
Like, I'm experiencing it right now. I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not even gonna bring up the high school, but they know. But like the way I talk about my kids, of what because remember, I'm in the lab with these kids.
Yeah.
These high school coaches aren't. So if I have a view, And again, I'm using social media and I'm giving my opinion of what I believe my kid is. And of course, you know, when a high school coach knows that that kid trains with GGT and they see me at the game, you know, I'm just a trainer, you know. I've seen minutes get cut down. I've seen, because I'm in the building, the way they use them, that's not their game. And so, and it makes me mad. I won't lie, there's been times where I'm about to go to the office, I'm about to talk to this dude, but I think about the kid. You know what I'm saying? I talk, and the parents know because they know what I'm about. And it's crazy. I don't understand it. I really don't. You know, so I was like, we could work together. But anyways.
It's a control thing.
Yeah.
Like if the kid does it, you walk in the gym, you in the gym, or you're not in the gym, the kid goes down the court, does a step back, and the ball bounces off his foot on accident, whatever. All right, come on, man, better something next time. But if you're in the gym and he sees it, he might really.
Yeah.
What the? Oh, he's trying to impress me.
Yeah, exactly.
I be getting, I used to get that shit.
I guess I feel some high school coaches just take it too personal, right? They think like, I tell, I've just having conversation and on the show, it's like, it's not a popularity contest. I tell even the kids when I coach them, I said, look, you don't have to like me. I said, we're going to like each other just through this journey together, but you don't have to start off liking me. Just hear me out and understand that I have your best interest at heart. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't work out, I'm not a good fit, whatever, because I'm an intense coach. Shit, I just know who I am. I'm a hard coach. But I don't know what some high school coaches, I shouldn't say all because I've had good relationships with a lot of high school coaches, but the ones that I've met, and I'm mainly speaking to my area because the immediate high schools in my area are Granite Bay, Wood Creek, Rockland High, Whitney. Am I missing any others? West Park. Like these are the schools in my immediate area. A lot of these coaches, they just have issue with AAU. So again, I don't know why. If any of you high school coaches, well, I know some high school coaches listen to my show. If you guys hear this, to hear it from us and hear it again, we are in the same business. We just want to see the kids thrive. Yep. That's all we want. We're in the same business, man. The personal relationship with you and that kid, that's between y'all two. I'm just in the same business to just try to promote my guys. So
and we make mistakes.
Yeah.
And the kid is going to make mistakes whether we're in the gym or not.
Yep. That's a good one to have.
And he might try to play better if we're there.
Yeah.
But just build your relationship and don't be insecure about the relationship you have with the kid.
Right.
Because when I walk in, you're like, oh, he's trying to show off. Like, nah, he's still trying to, he knows I'm here, but he's trying to do what he's trying to show me what y'all doing.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how it should be.
You would think. I've known me personally, I've even tried to reach out to high school coaches and say, hey, I'm going to have him over the summer. Is there something particularly you want me to update you on, right? Like, maybe he's not shooting very well for you in the high school season. Okay, we'll work on that. We'll make that a point of emphasis. Do you want me to shoot you a text and say, hey, he's been working really hard on the shot? Some high school coaches, they love that. They're like, man, thank you. Like, I'm not used to AAU coaches doing that. And because I'm trying to break that stigma of we're against each other. But then I also have had the ones that are like, don't talk to me. I don't fuck with AAU. Like, this is very well known. I don't mind, you know me, I don't mind saying names, but Coach Hibbs at Wood Creek is not a fan of AAU, and he makes that very clear all the time. I think he did say, to his credit, he said he would like to have lunch with me sometime and have a conversation. So I think I'm starting to bridge that gap with him. But yeah, he's not a fan of AAU. Definitely not. But that just wanted to touch on that topic. So let's go to the NBA. Warriors lost to the Suns. Did you guys check that out? Yeah. So any thoughts on that? Because I'm a Warriors fan, so of course I'm going to bring up my Warriors. And I still feel like we are going to make it to the finals. That's just my opinion. I know you and your Lakers, I know you're trying to.
We still figuring it out, but,
KB, what's your favorite team? You got a favorite team?
Warriors.
But thank you. See? Got another Warriors fan.
Y'all got that rematch on Friday against the Suns.
I know.
So that should be interesting.
At home.
Yeah. Curious to see if Devin Booker plays.
Yes.
In that game, I just
and Splash for the Splash Brothers.
I just think that in that game, Curry doesn't need to shoot. I think he needs to just focus on sprinting off screens, and let everybody else do their thing.
Like be a decoy? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. The whole first half.
Yeah.
And let them adjust and then kill their ass second half Curry.
Right.
But you know he ain't going to shoot like that. He ain't going to be 4 for 20.
Yeah, I mean, that's just,
I don't expect that on Friday.
No. And then,
that was crazy.
One, credit to them. They were super physical with Curry. They were trying to bang and beat. I mean, we know as basketball players, it wears on you a little bit.
And it's instructed by Paul.
Right.
And Paul know how to get Curry's this little bro.
Yeah.
The thing that I saw in that game, which I'm assuming I feel like this is what Cleveland kind of did, was we know what Curry's going to do offensively. Whoever Curry is guarding, go at him. They were attacking him.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Like they were, if you go and get your points, then you're going to have to guard. And that's what I noticed, that whether it was off switches or whoever he was guarding, they were attacking him.
Right.
So, as a shooter, if you got to play both ends and you got to score, that's going to mess up your energy a little bit. So I'm not saying maybe that's why he shot so bad, but they were attacking him. You know what I'm saying, on the other end. So that's something that I noticed during playoffs, when especially during those Cleveland series, that anytime they can get a switch, Kyrie, LeBron, he going to have to guard. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I saw. I'm curious to see. And then, of course, that's what helps when Clay's there. You know what I'm saying? To have that extra.
Clay relieves that pressure. Yeah, absolutely.
So should be a good game on Friday. That's going to be big.
And then I wanted to talk about that. I don't know if you guys saw it. And again, I'm a super Warriors fan, so I looked at it a little bit in research. Clay in the G League, they showed him playing a little bit. He looks solid, looks good. I saw some of the highlights. Then again, this is just more news for if you're a Warriors fan checking us out and are listening to this. Yeah, he looked pretty good. I mean, does he look 100% like the Klay Thompson I'm used to seeing? No, but that motherfucker still can shoot. He still can catch and shoot. 6'8" shooter. So it'd be real interesting in that. On the other news, there's a record broken today. Crazy ass record broken today. I don't know if you heard about this one. Yeah, fucking very embarrassing. The Grizzlies beat the shit out of OKC.
73 points.
They beat them by 73 points. I think the score was 156 to like 70 something. Yeah. Don't want to be in the record books for that one.
What Ja Morant had?
I don't
even know if he played.
Yeah, that was the crazy part. I don't even know if he played. I think he's still out.
He's still out because of his knee injury.
Damn.
That is
yeah, that's bad. Because they said the previous record was back in 91. It was 68. So 73? Like, God damn.
I should get fined for that.
Right? 73 points, man.
I'm like, okay, see, whoever, I don't even know who's all on that team right now. So I'm like,
40. If you lose by 40, you should get.
Yeah. 70 something? I don't know. Someone should get fired or suspended. I'm like, man, that's pretty crazy. I wouldn't expect that from something like that.
Well, I mean, like I said, like you would think, like, man, everybody, you in the NBA,
yeah,
like if you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose. But like 73, that's like if that sounds like an NBA team playing a
reckless.
I don't even know if a college team would lose by that much.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. A good college team. But
I mean, maybe they just were on fire. I got to see the highlights. I ain't seen the highlights. I just seen the numbers. But
I don't even know if I want to watch that.
They gave up.
Yeah.
They gave up early in the third quarter.
I don't know, man. To go out like that, that's pretty crazy. And then I want to talk about LeBron, obviously, with the crazy COVID stuff and his protocols and stuff. Mark, you filled me in more.
I went to the game because the Lakers play the Kings. I went to that game. So, of course, I'm thinking like, hey, LeBron about to play.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the Kings. So, I'm thinking like, at least LeBron going to play. And then that same day, the protocol thing, he's out 10 days. And, of course, I'm like, what? I'm just thinking, all right, he just don't want to play the Kings. And then I just heard today that they've been testing him. Because he tweeted something like, oh, I think something fishy going on. Like, he said that he's been tested like 10 or 11 times. And they said it was like a negative, a positive, a negative, a positive. And then they finally found out, because he's supposed to miss 10 days, that like now he's back. He's cleared to play because they were all false tests. And I'm just mad because, like I said, I wanted to see him on Friday. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn.
Right.
So,
damn.
I don't know, man. This is just weird.
Okay.
All this shit, but
they beat the Kings, right?
Yeah, they blew them out.
Okay.
Blew them out.
Do you think they're getting it together?
Westbrook's been playing really good. He's been playing. Turnovers are going down. You can. I just feel like when LeBron's not there, like he's able to play his game. Okay. That's what I think. And then when LeBron's back, he's standing in the corner, or he's standing on the wing, and that's not his game.
No, it definitely isn't.
That's my thing. Is like LeBron was the one, supposed to be Buddy Hield. Him and AD chose Westbrook, so he the good. So if LeBron's king, I'm gonna wait till after All-Star break that he got a plan. But when they're together, I don't know how's that gonna work. When LeBron's not there, Russ is playing his game, But so I don't know, man. I'm waiting until after All-Star break.
All right. I wanted to talk about this is one case I just find very curious in the NBA. Two things, but the first one is John Wall. I think he's a very interesting case. He's essentially held captive by the Rockets. If people don't know, just give you guys the quick summary. His contract's incredibly big. He is getting paid.
He all
right, and he's not playing, but he's cleared to play. That's the thing. They said he's cleared to play. He's not injured, but it's like a preferred sit or something like that. They call it because they want to let the young guys grow.
Yeah, I saw him playing one-on-one with Jalen Green in a little clip.
Yeah, but they won't release him. So he's essentially being held prisoner in Houston. And again, I will give much credit to him because I believe, and I'm circling this back to Ben Simmons, I think he's handling it much more professionally, much more gracefully, and in a much better light than someone like a Ben Simmons who, he I said last episode, or at least a few episodes, I think Ben Simmons is the embodiment of entitled AAU bullshit because of the way he's acting. I don't want to be here, not going to practice. Oh, now I got mental health, and again, don't know if that's true or not. Not even going to touch that fucking subject.
You can't do the Dennis Rodman.
You know what I mean? When you're not right, and so it's just But shout out to John Wall, man. I think he's handling it pretty professional, and I just find this pretty interesting. The last thing I kind of want to ask you guys on your opinion on this. So I listen to different podcasts and YouTubers and analytics guys. I'm a big analytics guy. Jokic, quite arguably, just by the sheer numbers. Again, I know his team doesn't reflect this, but he is the best player in the NBA if you go by PER and all that, but you know what I mean? But I think the biggest thing with him, to non-pure basketballists, like his game is boring. To me, it's the Tim Duncan syndrome. Do you guys kind of see it that way, or you see something different?
I see what somebody can mean, but it's not boring though. He throwing dimes.
But we're pure basketballists. You got to keep that in mind. We're talking about the casuals, and that's the majority of fans.
Yeah, people looking for athleticism and more.
They look for the Steph Curry long balls and that super athletic Westbrooks.
Just freaky shit.
Yeah, but we understand as hoopers what Jokic does is
he's nice.
Yeah,
he is nice. He's not the best in the NBA though.
Okay, fair enough.
He's not the best.
Who you got?
I got Curry right now.
Me too. Me too.
I got Curry right now.
It's hard to argue with that. But I do. I have Curry 1. I think Jokic or Kevin Durant 2. Right? Jokic 3. That's kind of my top 3. But
what? No.
Who you got?
Personally,
who you got?
Me personally, I got Giannis. That's just
you still got Giannis up there as number 1.
Right now, yes. Like
all
I feel
right,
like Curry doing his thing,
right.
But I just feel like if you're just talking about especially his jumper,
Curry is breaking numbers.
Of course,
killing the basketball algorithm.
I just feel like, and I understand there's a difference between the most dominant and I guess the best, but at the end of the day, the man got a championship. He got the Finals MVP. To me, what separates Giannis is just his mindset. Mm-hmm. Like he's a dog. He don't give a fuck. He be getting dunked on, but he be trying to block everything.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I'm saying? At the same time, it's just, I don't know. I just feel that his presence on the floor, because what he can do at both ends, is unmatched. You know what I'm saying? Compared to some, if you compare him to an Embiid, you know what I'm saying? He's always injured.
Yeah.
he's never available. But I don't know. I feel like for me personally, I feel like you got to put Giannis at least top 3.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Can't be too mad at that.
Yeah.
Well, then this is this last thing before we move on to a couple other questions before we get out of here. Did you guys see Haslem when he made this comment about, you know, when Jokic and his brothers come to Florida, they better be cool and all that shit. And to me, I looked at it and just kind of laughed at it. I was like, man, look, man, the NBA's got elements of the WWE and shit in it, man. These dudes, not to say like they ain't no punks. I mean, I don't know these motherfuckers in real life like that, so I'm not gonna sit there and assume. But I mean, when's the last time you really heard about NBA guys getting into street fights like that? I mean, that's not a thing. You know what I mean? Again, don't. You guys, for you casuals listening or someone just tuning into the show, don't take that lightly. Don't think you're going to go up to some of these 6'8", 6'10" motherfuckers and talk your shit and not get knocked out. But at the same time, all the shit that was around the Morris incident and then the brothers talking on Twitter, and all, to me, I was like, hey, it's great entertainment.
Well, you saw they ended up going to a nightclub in Miami.
Yeah, they went to a nightclub and played his anthem.
Yeah, they played the Serbian national
in Miami. And Haslem was like, hey, man, you better be cool in my city. And don't get me wrong, Haslem is that OG. He is that guy in Florida. But come on, man, it wasn't no shit like that.
He said after the game, just pack your bags and leave. They went to the club right after.
So I don't know, man. I just thought a lot of that shit was funny. But yeah, for you viewers out there, man, just keep that in mind with the NBA. It's not all what y'all think. A lot there's some legit tough guys in there, but yeah, there's some, you know, for the most part, man, it's all smoke and mirrors. Mm-hmm. So want to talk about a couple, I guess, quote unquote controversial topics, or respectfully disrespectful. That's what we call this part. So I know for me, and I've talked about in this episode, my future plan with YBA and everything we're trying to grow here. We're trying to get to the point where, you know, the major hitter programs really establish themselves and kind of we eliminate a lot of the mom and pop programs to funnel these kids into our major programs to create on these platforms. I know, again, for the smaller AUs, they might not like that. Those smaller independent AUs, they might not want to hear that. But you know, when Walmart comes in your area, you better go fucking work at Walmart. You know what I mean? Because they gonna put you out of business. So, you know, I'm just curious your thoughts on that, KP. If you got you know, good, bad, indifferent, whatever.
I mean, I kind of adjusted to the new time with all the teams. I grew to like them, to love the mom and pop programs. Like for instance, like that would take out. Like, you know, like Don, but Don actually rocks with real because of how powerful his mom and pop or whatever or how powerful my mom and pop thing was. It turned into Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? True. So you got like Poe, Fan Biz.
Yeah, Fan Biz, yeah.
You know, and those are two Sac area, and I call it mom and pop because I'm more so respected, like, and it's from the ground up. And those my dudes, so they know where I'm coming from with that. But
or like CTB, right?
Exactly. I like that. Like I just came from that. My AU team was a mom and pop team. If you look at it,
right.
So you know, like everybody can't do the West Coast Elite model or the West Coast Elite model. When they do come in your backyard, it does make you, like you said, Walmart came.
Yeah,
everybody finna work there. I remember West Coast Elite came and said, you know, we doing a NorCal chapter. I'm like, okay, well. We'll see.
Right. Good luck. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But they did it. I ain't gonna lie. They did it. They did it strong. I'm cool with all them dudes. But it's level setting and lets you know how strong your program is when that happens.
When you can sustain, right?
Exactly.
Right. So what about you, Mark? Any thoughts on any of that stuff?
No, that's kind of out of my lane.
It's like when I'm possible training.
Yeah, like if I'm possible came to your backyard.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like you better jump on with Michael Lancaster, or you get
be like, we'll see.
I mean, we'll see. But I think it's enough hoopers. I think it's enough hoopers for. Like the old me, like the younger me reacted different. Now that I've experienced what happens when that happens now, or I've learned. It's like, hey, man, there's so many basketball players.
Yeah.
They're not going to take all your clients. And if they do take some of your clients, you're going to have some more clients. Like, it's
just a chain. It's a cycle, right?
And to me, and I know for you guys, when it comes to like the AAU thing, I mean, as a trainer, like I have real relationships, not with just the players, with their parents. And so like I trust in that. Like that's what I believe in. Like, like especially, I'm at the Christmas party, I'm at Thanksgiving with like I'm not like, to me, like if they end up going with another trainer, like me, like you said, when Lo was here, like I'm a trainer with no ego. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe in the work that I do and my relationship with the kids because it's bigger than basketball.
Yes.
So again, like if they need to go do that, then that's fine with me. But at the end of the day, if they don't and they're loyal or they believe in the stuff that we do, then it is what it is. So like it doesn't, to me, it doesn't really, I wouldn't be somebody who's like my insecurity, like, oh my God, like,
KP. So me and Mark have interviewed a couple of guys, younger cats that are doing like the street ball circuit stuff. Like the ball is life, all that stuff. I was curious, what do you think about all that stuff, kind of overall?
The ball is life, or the
park stuff,
the park stuff, the park open, the K show times, the Nick Brizzes. Just curious if you had any thoughts, or because I look at the stuff, it's entertaining to me. I watch it a little bit. I'm just curious what you think of it.
I think it's dope that them old dudes. I mean, that the older washed up. I mean, them dudes washed up. I mean, a lot of them are, but they still. It's like a washed up league.
Right.
That's still hooping, and I mean. The best washed up dude ain't weak, you feel me? But he's still washed though. He's still a little older. Like, I'm not, and I'm not gonna keep it all the way like that, like all the way 100 on that one. Like, I don't want to say nobody name who's washed up, but there's some guys out there that are glorified and they're not. It's like, bro, I can put my shoes up and kind of get with you. But I like the entertainment that they have, the competitiveness. It's hella funny,
right?
And they be balling out.
Yeah. What about the young cats? Have you seen like the younger guys? Like
younger, bro.
Like the 19, there's like 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Like these young cats that are doing this stuff now.
I think some of them, I like the whole competitive part of it. I'm just more so taken away by the older group.
Okay.
And it's just like it just makes me say like, damn, bro, like, but they enjoy it. So like, it's two sides to it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Because when I was talking to Marcellus or Jordan when he was here, because they're heavy in the YouTube basketball space, right? They're heavy in that, and some of these guys, I mean, Jesus, they're more famous than NBA players at this point. So, I overall enjoy that platform was created because I'm just all for, hey man, if you could find a lane and thrive in it, I'm all for it. I like watching others succeed, especially young black men. Like that's just even more of another intangible where I'm like, man, that's great.
What's kind of intriguing to me was when what's the name was here, the dude
Jordan Drifty J, yeah.
When he said that, and like I said, it just shows how times have changed. Like I know, and he's getting paid for it. Like he's training like he's a pro to get ready to play at the park.
Yeah.
Like he got a strength and conditioning coach. he working out, getting his skill work.
Right.
And of course, remember, like I said, like I'm training my kids to get ready for college.
Right.
I have a couple pro guys, but these kids are doing it because they're about to play at the park.
Right.
Because all the cameras are going to be there, so they take it serious. So, and they're getting paid.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Which is crazy.
I know, because you would have never thought, back when we were younger at least, that would ever be a thing.
I think the competitive part is dope. And how they train for you, right? All that is it's extremely dope. And it shows the love. I love when people love basketball. It shows you that they love basketball.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Last question of the day. So, because we kind of alluded to it a little bit with the parents and investing, right? Have you, as a director, because I know I've run across this even in this area, I talked about this last episode. I feel sometimes they shortchange us, or they undersell our product. They feel like there's this underlining tone that basketball is supposed to be cheap or free. You know what I mean? Like, and I just wonder how have you managed that, or have you ever felt like, like you've explained, like this is the cost, like this is the price point. I've tried to adjust, I've tried to make wiggle room, but this is how much it costs. We can't avoid that. And of course, there's still parents and people that either have this sense of entitlement, or kids, or just whomever, who think like, oh, what? This should be free for me. This should be, I'm just curious, how have you dealt with that kind of stuff?
I just communicate about, like, my price break. I break down my price so they see it, like everything. You know what I mean? Like the jersey, your uniform package is, you feel me, $450. Your jersey costs, your top and bottom costs $150. Your, you know what I'm saying? Your hoodie. I mean,
everything.
And that's the thing, when you really break it down, and then a parent act like they shouldn't pay it all. It's like, so you want me to pay for your son's hoodie?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to give your son a hoodie so he can feel like he's a part of a special program. We can lower all this pricing down, and then we have a program that don't cost that much, and now you're going to be complaining about how we not playing in this and how we ain't got no jerseys.
Right, and we don't have swag and we don't look good, right?
Exactly.
All that stuff.
So that's the part. The only thing, I don't like the only thing. I don't like none of the, I don't like the part where we're if you don't, and my thing is, you can go to another program, and I'm not saying that you won't have a good experience or the experience that satisfies you, but what I'm telling you that we're going to give you, we're going to give it to you.
Right.
You know? So that's, and it costs. Everything costs.
Right. There's a price point to everything. I just think sometimes we as coaches, directors in this AAU world, sometimes we're undersold. You know what I mean? Or people might feel like we're not what we're worth. You know what I mean? I have one thing I've learned getting older and just everything. You got to know your self-worth, man. You got to know what you bring to the table, right? And be unapologetic about it. Like, this is what I do. This is what I bring. If it doesn't work for you, okay, I get it. But don't make it seem like I'm doing something wrong, because I always say this shit to parents. I say, so when you go to Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, wherever the fuck you go, do you go to the register and they're like, okay, it's $200, and you go, man, I ain't got that 200. Can I just give you $98 and walk out?
Exactly.
Fuck no.
Exactly.
So why do you think you could do that to me?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I always say that to them. I say, I'll try to work with you. I will. But at some point, the product is what it is. Mark, you got any thoughts on that one? I know we brought that up a couple times, but still.
Like I said, I experience it with training sometimes, like depending on the kid's background, the family's background, how passionate the kid is, I'll work with them. But again, like, if I know the parents got good money and they're still over here trying to shortchange me, and your kid ain't even that nice, and you just trying to make me a babysitter, like, nah.
I hate all that, man. With all that being said, another great episode. KB, I really appreciate you being here, brother. I really do. No, man. I want to do a couple quick shout outs real quick. Shout out to the Patreon members who've been supporting. Shout out to the major AAU programs. KP, you got any shout outs or anything like that you want to do real quick?
Man, just shout out to NorCal basketball, man. We all in this together. It's competitive, but and thanks for having me, y'all.
Oh yeah, man.
I really appreciate the time and letting me speak my mind on certain things that I don't really get to talk about, and I enjoy myself, so thanks.
No, man, I appreciate you, man. You're doing a lot of great work. Links for him will be in the description. I'll connect with you, get all your social media links, his website. Follow this man's journey. Like I tell you guys, I try to have guests on the show of people that I think I personally could connect with. So this isn't smoke and mirrors. This isn't bullshit. Like, I want you guys to support this guy. See what he's doing for kids. Obviously, me and Mark, we're going to keep doing our thing, right? So, we still have hopefully some good future guests lined up for you guys. You have your K-Shot, right?
What was that?
Your trainer buddy, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Shine. Try to get him next week.
So Shine is the man. You talking about Shine out here in Sac?
Yes. So look forward to that episode. Please be on the lookout for that. Again, everybody out there, be safe. If you listened to the episode all the way through, congratulations. We appreciate you. Again, if you want to support, all the links are in the description. Shout out to Hardwood and Courtside. If you're looking for good tournaments, go check them out. They're another sponsor program of ours. Links are in the description. Everybody be safe out there. Understand COVID is still a thing. Protect yourself from COVID. Take care of your families. Enjoy this game. I think that's it for me. Anything for you, Mark?
No, man. Great meeting you, bro. Great meeting you.
Right on, man.
All right, man. And we are out.